It has been hot as hell, and I finally ordered parts for my AC. Well, after it was the first like multi-day problem, the first thing I needed was compressor. I knew the compressor was shot, like it was barely turning, it was getting jammed, so I was about to break my belt. So I ordered a compressor, and when I went to physically install it, one of the bolts I couldn't get to. I even went and bought some wrenches that I thought could fit it perfectly, and everything kept sliding because I'd already tried too hard from other angles and like stripped the bolt a little bit. And I ended up learning that I needed, well, I don't know how they do it at the like service factory, but I had to take some boards and put on the jack and jack up the engine to pull the engine up from the frame so I could get a wrench in there and loosen this one bolt. But that I learned how to do that on like day 5 of trying over and over, trying to the point of like taking everything apart, getting down to the one bolt I needed left, and then having to put everything back together with the same compressor and just move on. It was torturous. Then, once I figured out how to get the bolt off and change it out, I didn't hook it up yet because I wanted to check everything else. And I learned that a disaster called Black Death, or like compressor Black Death, had occurred. This is where your compressor in your HVAC unit, your AC, shits all over everything. And there's just like sticky blackness. I don't know what it is exactly, but something tears apart in it and it spits it through all your other parts. So you can replace everything or replace most things and try to like flush out the rest of it. I flushed so much and was never able to get the lines clean. I replaced the bigger parts, but just the lines that I thought would be a simple thing, I spent another like 5 days trying to clean those, getting different chemicals and like plugging up both ends and letting them sit and run air through it after all the recommendations. And I think I got them clean, but I can't even, I'm not even sure. So after I got them what I thought was clean enough so that when I sprayed, like I had to go and find a non-chlorinated brake cleaner because it's supposedly like one of the only things you can spray through it and will dry up with no residue and not damage anything else. But it's not something you can just go to Walmart and get for $6 or something. I then found one of the car parts places here had it on clearance for like $1 something per can, so I picked up a few. That's why I still have some even. That and denatured alcohol and different things. So I learned a whole bunch during that, but trying to get the liquid into the pipes and it's shooting back at you. Then there is like the Schrader valve there that I guess like I didn't realize. I mean, it's a vacuum. It's made to be a vacuum with the small lines and everything. Just getting liquid to go in without an actual like air release, you would think you had it full, and then you bump a little bit and air bubbles. Oh. So after all that, I should have just taken it to a shop and been like, hey, it's all new stuff, just get it going. But I already had a can of the refrigerants and I was like halfway there to being able to do it myself. So I finally went and rented. You can rent tools from the auto parts places. And I had to put down $500 to get a manifold gauge set that I saw for $40 at Rural King later. I almost grabbed it and I should have, but I didn't because I'd already rented this one for over $200. And the vacuum pump, which I saw nowhere cheap. So that I was going to rent either way. They sent me with a bottle of oil like this. I learned the next day that every time you use it, you're supposed to fill up like an entire bottle's worth. So I ran it for a little bit that night, but it sounded bad. So I didn't want to take any more chances. I went to that place again the next day. They just didn't have any more. So I had to go to another store in town and they swapped it for me. I think we're good, but this has been a pain in the ass too. There's no real good way of like changing levels on that. So we filled it up too much and I went to take a little bit out and I think 90% of it was on the ground and I got a little bit back in the bottle. So I hope that doesn't leak overnight because there's no more. None of the stores even had any more. This was like in the rental box for the next kit. I don't know why. And then the manifold gauge sets, which is like it has the gauges and the 3 hoses and you hook it up to the 2 parts in your car. Then the other part you hook up to the vacuum, and then whenever you have it all, the vacuum set, you hook it up to your coolant and let it go through. Why not have example? So I guess I don't really need an example because it has nothing to do with this. I haven't gotten to that part. So the manifold gauge sets, when I opened the box, it was pretty filthy. And that concerned me because I just learned all about when you have a new HVAC system, the new clean pipes and everything, contaminating it is a huge issue. So I'd already been so crazy about cleaning out my own system, and I found the hoses on the manifold gauge, like I could see Black Death on them. Like I took a Q-tip out, and there was like metal shavings and everything. So I used my cleaned their setup pretty good. But then I got to the little connector that you hook up to the car, and I turned the thing so it should be it's where it pushes down the Schrader valve on your car system and opens up the other end so you can either pull air out or pump stuff in. And I couldn't blow through it. And I grabbed another one and I could. So I like opened it up all the way, one let you blow through the other one. And I'm like, well, what's normal? Maybe this has some like safety mechanism inside of it. So it's only one way, or who knows this stuff. And they have two other ones in the kit for a different type of system. So I tested those two. Neither one I can get air through, no matter how I had it set. So I'm like, I don't know. And I couldn't Google something like this well enough to get a direct answer. So I go back to the parts store and they have no idea. And I don't really expect them to. They're working minimum wage counter jobs, but it's still annoying that you can't go to where you got the thing and get answers. That was a trip because they Googled it and found an answer, and the context around it wasn't quite clear. But they're just saying like, well, you're not supposed to be able to blow through them. And I'm like trying to explain like, well, then how does it create a vacuum? It's like, well, when you connect it, then it really, I'm like, but the side that has the spring Schrader valve is on the car end. This just has like a rod that pushes down on that. So it opens up the other thing. But once you screw it down, it's open. So like this one, I can blow through. This one, I can't. I think this one's broke, but I honestly don't know. They had no idea. They had another kit. None of them you could blow through. So they assumed that's the normal way. And I'm thinking the other kit was nastier than the kit that I got from the first place. So I think they're all just probably clogged up. I don't know. I still don't know. But I just left with what I had because I was like, maybe if only one side I could pull a vacuum on, I can at least test my car and see if it'll hold a vacuum. Like at the bare minimum, it'd be nice to figure out if I did that side correctly, like get something done. Well, I start testing it. I hook up the pump, which is working now, kind of. I thought it was messed up for a minute, but I hook up the pump. It's just like the manifold gauge without hooking it to the car. And like every stage has like valves so you can test and make sure you're holding the vacuum even before you put it on the car. Well, it would pull a vacuum and get to like negative 10 psi, but it wouldn't hold it. So then I get to like the couplers and stuff. I'm checking O-rings, and I tighten this one joint, and the O-ring like splits apart. I'm like, ah, but I have a whole kit of O-rings, so no issue there. Like to continue working on the project, that is not a problem. So I replaced those O-rings and I tighten it up, and one of them splits again. I'm like, what the hell? So I take two smaller O-rings, and they're definitely different sizes than what was originally on that thing, and they fit. And I'm like, who has been messing with this fucking thing? Like, so I get that all tightened up and taken care of, and it seems great. But then I found the real culprit. I don't know if those parts were leaking or not, but the hose, this yellow hose that goes from the pump to the gauge, it's definitely leaking. I can sit there and like move it and see the gauges move fast, like leak faster. And I open everything up and I can see the little gasket, little tiny little green thing in there. It's not an O-ring or I would have replaced it, but it was just cracked to shit. It was just worn out. I go back to the shop and this kid just, he's listening to me explain things, but I'm half out of it at this point. I'm tired as hell, hungry. I haven't slept for days. I've been dehydrated and haven't just, it's been too hot. And I feel like he's just kind of telling me like, yeah, that sucks. Who knows? And I'm fine. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I guess I just leave and figure it out on my own. I don't, this kit that's like over $200, I can get down here at another store for $40, but they're closed now. It's too late. And yeah, I've already put the deposit down for this thing. So just make it work. And he said he could order a new one. And that's actually, I guess, the final like cherry on top. In my brain, I was just like, well, so that's going to be like next week or something. But he said It'll be here at 10 a.m. tomorrow. That's fantastic. It's actually because of all the problems. I think tomorrow is when I'm technically supposed to return all the equipment, but we'll figure that out. But the good thing is, since it is going to be a brand new kit, I'll be able to settle with those adapters, the couplers, whatever the fuck they're called, how they're supposed to work, if they're supposed to be able to be like completely open one way or another, and maybe I'll even be nice and go tell the other guys like, hey, this other kit is either that one actually works and I should have swapped for it, or that whole kit's trash too, and you guys really need to like do a quality inspection on your fucking rental tools. That's been absolute hell. But maybe tomorrow, I can't count on anything, but I might have AC again, which would be cool, or